Okay, people, let's talk phrasal verbs. They sound fancy, right? You might think they're some kind of advanced grammar topic reserved for language experts, but don't worry, they're not that complicated. In fact, once you get the hang of them, you'll see they're quite straightforward. They're just verbs that team up with other words. It's like a partnership where each word brings something unique to the table. Think of them like dynamic duos in the English language. Batman and Robin, peanut butter and jelly, you get the idea. Why should you care? Because phrasal verbs are everywhere. They're in the conversations you have with friends, the texts you send, and even the TV shows you binge watch. They're in everyday conversations, movies, songs, you name it. You can't escape them, and that's a good thing. Mastering them will seriously level up your English game. Imagine being able to understand and use these phrases effortlessly. Trust me on this one, you'll feel more confident and fluent. Imagine trying to understand a joke or a story without knowing what give up or look after means. It would be like missing the punchline every time. It's like trying to eat a burger without the patty. Something's missing. So buckle up, Buttercup. Get ready to add that essential ingredient to your language skills. We're about to dive into the world of phrasal verbs and make you a pro in no time. Stick with me and you'll be mastering these in no time. Let's break it down, shall we? A phrasal verb is like a two-part puzzle. You've got your verb, the action word like look, take, or go. Then you've got a sidekick, a preposition or an adverb like up, down, or after. Put them together and bam, you've got yourself a phrasal verb. It's like mixing and matching your outfits to create a whole new look. Look becomes look up, take transforms into take off, and go morphs into go out. See? Not so scary after all. It's just about understanding the individual parts and how they work together. Like a well-coordinated dance move, these words come together to create a whole new meaning. Let's bring these phrasal verbs to life, shall we? They are more common in our daily conversations than you might think. Imagine you're hanging out with friends on a sunny afternoon, just enjoying each other's company. You might say, hey, want to hang out later? It's a casual way to invite someone to spend time together. Hang out, boom, phrasal verb. It's simple yet so effective in everyday language. It just means to spend time together, doing something fun or relaxing. Or maybe you're at work and your boss says, can you please print out this report? It's a common request in any office. Print out another phrasal verb. It's used to describe the action of creating a physical copy of a document. It means to create a physical copy using a printer, see? They're everywhere. You use them without even realizing. And let's not forget about those awkward moments when you bump into someone you haven't seen in ages. It can be quite a surprise. You might say, wow, I haven't seen you in ages. It's a great way to express surprise and joy. We should catch up sometime. It's an invitation to reconnect and share updates. Catch up, you guessed it, phrasal verb. It's all about getting up to date on each other's lives. It means to get up to date on each other's lives, sharing stories and experiences. Phrasal verbs make our conversations richer and more dynamic. Here's the thing about phrasal verbs. They can be sneaky. Sometimes their meaning is literal, like pick up your phone or put on your shoes. Easy peasy, right? But other times they take on a whole new meaning, a figurative one. For example, pick up can also mean to learn something new, like I picked up some Spanish while I was traveling. And put on can also mean to pretend like he's just putting on an act. Think of it like this. Phrasal verbs are like chameleons, blending into different contexts and changing their meaning accordingly. It's all about understanding the context and using your common sense. Section 5, phrasal pitfalls, common mistakes to avoid. Now let's talk about those pesky mistakes that even native speakers make with phrasal verbs. These little phrases can be tricky, but understanding them is crucial for mastering English. One common trap is using the wrong preposition or adverb. This can completely change the meaning of what you're trying to say. For example, you wouldn't say look after a book, you'd look through it. Look after means to take care of something, while look through means to search or examine. Another common error is using the wrong word order. This can make your sentence sound awkward or even nonsensical. You can't just go around saying up, wake instead of wake up. That's just plain wrong. Wake up means to stop sleeping, but up, wake doesn't mean anything. The word order matters, people. It's essential to get it right to convey the correct meaning. And then there's the issue of using phrasal verbs in the wrong context. This can lead to misunderstandings or even embarrassing situations. You wouldn't say I'm going to put down my dog for a walk, would you? Put down can mean to euthanize an animal, which is definitely not what you mean. That takes on a whole different meaning, so it's important to use phrasal verbs correctly to avoid confusion. The key is to pay attention to how native speakers use phrasal verbs and practice. Listen to conversations, watch movies, and read books to see how these verbs are used in different contexts. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, that's how you learn. Every error is a step towards mastering the language. Section 6. Mastering phrasal verbs, tips and tricks. Ready for some insider tips to conquer these phrasal verb beasts? First up, context is key. Pay attention to how phrasal verbs are used in different situations. Watch movies, listen to music, and read books. You'll start to notice them everywhere. Next, make it fun. Don't just memorize lists of phrasal verbs, create flashcards, use them in sentences, and even try writing your own stories. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become. And here's a secret weapon: phrasal verb dictionaries. These bad boys are packed with definitions, examples, and even quizzes to test your knowledge. They're like having a personal phrasal verb tutor at your fingertips. Section 7. Phrasal verbs in conversation. Sounding like a native. Alright, so you've learned a bunch of phrasal verbs. Now what? It's time to unleash them in your conversations. Don't be shy. Start small. Instead of saying I need to go to the bathroom, try I need to use the bathroom. As you gain confidence, you can start incorporating more complex phrasal verbs. Instead of saying, I agree with you, try, I'm totally on board with that. See? You sound like a natural already. Remember that fluency is a journey, not a destination. Don't be afraid to stumble or make mistakes. The important thing is to keep practicing and using phrasal verbs in your everyday life. Section 8. Keep calm and phrasal verb on. So there you have it, folks. The world of phrasal verbs demystified. Remember, they're not here to make your life difficult. They're here to add color, nuance, and a touch of fun to your English. Embrace the challenge, practice regularly, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you use phrasal verbs, the more confident and fluent you'll become. And who knows, you might even find yourself using them without even thinking about it. Now go forth and phrasal verb on. Phrasal verb.